Today I talk about doping with Adderall, coaching new athletes, and peaking without training massive volume. Welcome to Mind Games TV, episode 48. Here I am, ready to answer another 3 questions, and today I've been having a really good day. This morning, I wasn't woken up at 4 a.m. by screaming children. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay, so let me just get right into the show.
Anonymous asks, I was wondering if you could give me your view on the use of Adderall.
Okay, first of all, I'm glad this question is anonymous because now I can't point at you and say your name, but anyway. Dear Mr. Anonymous, don't use Adderall. There's my opinion. Are the side effects debatable? Yes. Are there side effects? Yes. Are they long-term? Probably. We don't know. But most things you do to your body, you do to your body, period. More important to me is the sign that Adderall gives as far as if you don't need it for an actual diagnosis, then you're just using it to try to get something that you feel like you deserve, but you don't want to work for. And it's pretty proven that you can, if you don't have ADHD or ADD, that you can get what you want if you focus on training, if you discipline yourself, if you meditate, if you actually go through the effort required to achieve the kind of mental fortitude and skill that you need to accomplish what you want. And if instead you just take Adderall, you're going to get something maybe temporarily that you desire, or you're going to push your level of performance maybe a little bit higher, for a few minutes or a few hours, and then you're going to be back to the same person that you were before, and you're going to have to live the rest of your life out without the skill set that you needed to acquire to achieve that goal. So do I think that using Adderall for winning a championship is intelligent or smart or useful? No, because I don't think the point of sports is to win a championship. I think the point of sports is to better yourself and to come out on the other end, as a person who has driven yourself to an extreme of performance, that you were able to satiate your need for development to a point where you decided it was okay that you could throw in the towel, or that you got defeated by the system and then you learned what your limits were, and you have to go to another avenue or area of life to keep pushing yourself further. So Adderall takes away all of that and just makes it all about winning, which is okay, well, whatever, why don't you go do anything if you want to win? Go kick a 2-year-old. You'll win that, no problem. What's the difference if you're going to cheat, and try to beat people? Okay, I'm going to beat this person who's maybe better than me, but I'm going to dope so that I can beat them. Okay, so you're fooling yourself. You're trying to compete with somebody who's on your level, so you feel good about winning, but you're doping so that you're trying to be better than you actually are anyway. So why don't you just, play on the ladder and as a Smurf get the same thrill without having to put drugs in your body? That's my opinion on Adderall.
Daniel asks, any tips for beginning to coach athletes who've never competed under a coach?
Daniel, I have some great advice for this. And first of all, of course, I would recommend that you check out the Esport Coaching Network at esportcoaching.net. We have a live event coming up. If you see this show before the live event, in which case you missed it, there's another one coming up. Check it out anyway. We do them every 3 months, but we're going to be expanding on that a lot over the next couple months. And you can actually get into the network for a pretty low price and then watch all of the videos on demand of all of our previous live events. So those are all completely accessible and free to download and watch and whatever for members. Everybody's coachable. That's the first thing that you want to kind of understand as you go in, that every single person is coachable. You just have to figure out the approach that you're going to take with that person. That's why it's an art and not a science. So when you're going to go in and coach a bunch of new athletes, whether or not they've been coached or not, and trust me, people have been led. So it doesn't matter if they've been coached or competed under a coach, because sometime in their life they've been led by a teacher or an adult or a parent or a coach or something. So you can rely on that experience. But go in with the idea that you're trying to take apart and pick apart how their motivation functions. Like first and foremost, let's say that you are in charge of their motivation as a caretaker, not as like a, like one of those carriage drivers, with the whip on the horse, but as a caretaker, you want to try to understand their motivation and engineer a culture and a place where that motivation gets maximized. And so you simply go in and work on kind of like building a rapport with them so that they can actually open up about the things that make them tick and the things that shut them down. And that is what I would do for a new group of athletes, is that I would go in and I would basically just try to get a rapport with them and try to figure out what makes them tick. Where do they see themselves in a few years, and what do they actually value when they're sitting down to play and to train?
Morgan asks, is there a way to attempt to peak without starting at massive volume? If you can't start at massive volume, is a less drastic decline better?
Okay, so Morgan, yes, you peak all the time, and you can do it all the time without training at massive volume. It's just like when you're on top of your game and you have done a set of practice that pushes you to the next level. And so this is happening constantly when we're training. The problem is it's not happening on schedule. So if you want to peak at a specific time, that is the challenge. And there's some science behind this, but really most of it is art, like understanding your body and the kind of like systemic buildup that you need and the mindset that you need to perform in a way that surpasses your own abilities. And that requires experimentation. So there's probably a way for you to peak at a specific time without starting at massive volume. But the reason that we do massive volume training with groups is because it's really hard to get 5 individual people who all have different, physiologies and mentalities and points in their training. It's really hard to get 5 people to peak at the same exact day. And so that is why we do this, like we take them together through massive training and together through the cutoff and together through the recovery, because then you more or less end with people kind of on the same cycle. It's kind of like syncing up your period together. You might not have experienced that, Morgan. I don't know if you're a girl or a guy, but if you hung around with enough women, then you know that like eventually their periods sync up, and that's what we're aiming for with our esport teams. Okay, that's the show for today. Please go and check out esportcoaching.net. If you missed the early bird discount, okay, we had an early bird discount. It ended November 1st. If you missed that discount, then it's okay. You are fans of the show, so if you look in the links down below, I will put a coupon to give you back the early bird discount that is good all the way up until the week of the event. So make sure that you check that out and make sure you get your discount back. Feel free to spread this around. I'm sure that if people see the show, that they will that they deserve the coupon as well. And the show, as always, is supported by my patrons. So check out mindgames.gg/patrons to see all the wonderful people that support this show, that support this website, that make all of this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're interested in doing, mesocycle training to peak on a schedule, check out mindgames.gg/mesocycle. That is where that worksheet lives, and you can download it there and use it. And the real important thing here is, that worksheet will help you do it on a specific schedule and kind of start through the system of understanding your body. But what you should do is just train and reflect on what the prerequisites are for your optimal performance, and then just kind of set those up. And make sure that you don't put in like non-scientific stuff like wearing the lucky underwear, because trust me, that has nothing to do with it. And now that I say that, of course, I have to inform you that actually there is a placebo effect to wearing lucky underwear. And it is actually, if you believe that it's going to work, likely to help you. So unfortunately, that is true. I want to end today's show with a quote. And this goes out to all of you who were thinking of asking me what my view is on using Adderall, and how I kind of went through that question, and it's all about failure and not about success. So that's what this quote is related to, but it fits in with the other themes as well. Even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. Victor Kiam. Don't use Adderall.